Alright guys, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the dinosaurs led by Via Anime, facing off against the Tomb Kings, who shall be helmed by Prepare for the Bear. It's Kotep versus Oxyotl. The greatest hunter is the one that goes unseen. Very, very sneaky indeed. Now for the Lizard build, going to be taking advantage of the new Skinks. No Croxigore buddies with them yet, but I would imagine Croxigores will be one of the first callings. So these little guys, if they do have Croxigores near them, and this is actually very good against Tomb Kings. It makes them cause fear, which then makes them immune to fear as well. So if you're facing off against Tomb Kings, I believe all the Bone Daddies like the skeletons and whatnot cause fear. So having that extra little leadership buff on your Skinks, awesome stuff. Now Oxyotl's kind of a cool tech here. He himself is a decent sniper against armor. So if you're able to get in range and like snipe Kotep or maybe shoot at some of the Boshopti, something like that, that could be pretty darn good. In the secondary row, we got Skink Skirmishers. Always nice to have just blistering poke Skink cohorts, and Rev Crystal. Rev Crystal going to be resurrecting most likely Colden Riders, healing up Oxyotl if need be. And a Sara Scar Veteran. Now, this is a very good tech. The Sara Scar Veteran in old school land battle against Tomb Kings, you used to actually see two of them. So there'd be two Sara Scar Vets and Velociraptors. Because the Tomb Kings, like, they have Sepulchral Stalkers, which are okay anti-large, and, you know, the Necropolis Knights with Halberds aren't very good, in my opinion. So these guys with healing from a Rev Crystal or maybe a Slant of Life, they could actually do a ton of work. It was a little bit tricky to deal with. Skink cohorts, and that's pretty much it. So this was also the grand finals of a intermediate tournament. So on our old Total Tavern, we've been having beginner tournaments, intermediate tournaments, and also some that are for veterans as well. Veteran tournaments, of course, open to anyone, but intermediate does have its limitations, which is pretty cool. So shout out to our host for all that goodness. Now here we do have Prepare for the Bear, a very solid player as well. Going to be rocking the Skeleton Warriors. Obviously a cheap core front line because he's going with triple Boshopti. Boshopti have always been awesome against Lizardmen, tons of targets. Croxigores get pounded very hard by them, Colden Riders, any big dinosaurs, whatever. But the Lizards went very wide, so maybe they won't be as effective. We got Skeleton Spears in the back, a Screaming Beam Catapult, which is a hardcore solid tech to deal with the Skink cohorts. Low leadership units get punished because it does do -8 leadership when it hits you. And look at this, some skirmish cavalry. So we do have some skeleton horseman archers on the other side. And yeah, skirmish cavalry are definitely good in domination mode. They typically always, get their value. They can help you ninja points and kind of control the pacing of the battle. I know there's some people who think they're not, but they're definitely very good. So skeleton horsemen obviously aren't going to get the most value shooting into skinks. For the most part, you just want to be shooting, I don't know, maybe even trying to dive onto some of the missile poke, like the chameleon skinks. I'm curious about the applications of the skeleton horseman in this matchup. Nehekar horseman might be a little bit stronger just to kind of bull rush in here and run these units over. But the Boshopti do overextend a little bit. They were trying to, get some firepower on some of the deep set units. More specifically, the Bastillodon with the Rev Crystal here, but he's able to hide behind the giant dwarven pillars here in the halls of Kadak Doom. Very, very cool. If I'm not mistaken, this map is inspired by the Gotrek and Felix books. The Halls of Kadak Doom are a lost dwarven hold and the Chaos Ways. So, the northern Chaos Taint has essentially been spreading to the south over time. But a long time ago, there used to be a dwarven hold because it wasn't like Chaos infested. Then Chaos kind of spread, and eventually the hold was lost, right? And in the depths of it, there's a Bloodthirster. It's basically just like a ripoff of the Lord of the Rings Balrog, but it's super cool. I'm not going to complain. Sara Scarvet chasing down the Skeleton Horseman Archers, and yeah, it's not terrible shooting. A little bit of HP into him, and they can always run back to the Spears and have the Spears get in front of the Sara Scar Veteran. Tomb Kings are going to take that frontline fight. Kotep, though, dropping the Darude Sandstorm. That one's taking a pretty sweet angle. It's going right down the line here, and man, Kotep with the dreaded Sandstorm combo. Yeah, look at that. Screaming Skull Catapult shooting in as well, and the Tomb Kings looking pretty comfortable on Objective 3, and they do also have Objective 2 as well. I mean, the Lizards do have the capture weight here for now, but they're going to be getting routed off soon. And the Tomb Kings are using Skeletons, which are expendable. It doesn't say it in their tooltip, but they are expendable, so they only have 2 capture weight, whereas like Tomb Guard have 5. So you'll probably be seeing Tomb Guard getting called in next. In the backfield, we do have the Sara Scar Veteran, causing quite a bit of disruption here. He's nibbling on these skeletons, and not a bad idea. I think getting him on top of the Boshopti would be the stronger play, though. So Via could get him away and go sit on this like Boshopti stack. The one thing the Tomb Kings players doing a little bit wrong is having them so cluttered together. Maybe like spread them out in 3 directions so they're not so easy to compromise. And they haven't turned around and started shooting again yet, so a little something to be done there. Now, the call-in here for the dinosaurs is going to be the Clossodon Hunters. Clossodon Hunters are very good tech against Tomb King's constructs, and it looks like the Boshopti have now turned around, and what are they going to be ripping shots into? Okay, they're shooting over here. It looks like they're maybe just shooting into skinks. There's really not any big targets in this lizard army. The Rev Crystal is hiding, so the Boshopti don't really have much that they can actually do here, which is pretty funny. Screaming Skull Catapult still teeing off, doing well. And Oxyotl, I'm not sure what he's poking at. Okay, he's trying to snipe Kotep, which is definitely a good idea. So as far as the objectives go, we see Objective 2 belonging to the Tomb Kings. And oh, look at the sneaky. We have the Chameleon Stalkers, a unit you almost never see. They're a little bit overcosted in my opinion, but I mean, they're good for this. They're going to sneak around the back and try and get that Screaming Skull catapult. Man, mission impossible. Hopefully we don't lose track of that. We need to see what's going on there. So back in the main fight, Skinks are holding valiantly. Tomb Kings have not gotten the capture weight up the objective yet. Catapult blasting in and doing some good damage against the Skink cohorts. Also to these skeletons as well, though, taking a little bit of friendly fire damage there. And in the back, we do see the Colossodon Hunters going pretty balls deep on the Bow Shopti. We do need to see Prepare for the Bear, get those Eyes of the Desert. See, he's trying to shoot with them to shoot them off, but it doesn't really work. You need to get them in melee and have them use their halberds. It's a little bit more effective here. In the backfield, Nehekar Horsemen going to be trying to intercept these Skink Skirmishers, maybe chase them down. No, they're actually going after the Coldon Riders to try and block them from advancing into the Bow Shopti. Bow Shopti here are on the run. We do see one unit in critical binding, the other one in critical binding as well. And now the Eyes of the Desert have gotten into melee, which is something that should have happened a little bit sooner. But even still, you know, it's never too late. You know, you can always make a bit of an improvement there. I love the sneaky in the back, though. The Chameleon Stalkers might actually make it. You can see they have a shift pathing. And the Sara Scar Veteran going after the Bow Shopti very, very well. So Prepare for the Bear. Probably going to be losing at least one unit of Bow Shopti here. These guys are crumbling down. And, you know, it's not for free, though. The Colossodon Hunters are mega expensive. So at least he's able to trade back and take down, you know, a Coldon Rider as well as a Colossodon Hunter. So those are some good picks, but if the Bow Shopti do get taken offline, that will allow the Kroxigors to feast. So you see now the Bow Shopti are all crumbling, and the Kroxigors have come in with their spanking paddle. So here they come. Skeleton Warriors going to be getting taken to Pound Town here. The cohort of Waddle do have their Power Fist and a really good unit. Very much like the Butchers of Kalkengard of the Lizardmen. I think an auto take in a lot of matchups. They just hit super hard, are really resilient, and they do have the dazed effect too, which is kind of cool. So they do slow down the target that they're hitting. As far as the point goes, Lizardmen have been able to hold on to this Kotep. Going to be getting nibbled by some Feral Cold Ones here. And in the backfield, do the Bow Shopti survive? The Sara Scarvet, there's not really much to deal with him. The Sepulchral Stalkers could get their halberds in and maybe take this guy down. But yeah, losing this many Bow Shopti is super rough. And look at this, the ambush is finally sprung. The Chameleon Stalkers have gotten around the back of the army. They're going to be moving in. And the Screaming Skull Catapult, which has been a hard carry unit so far, just nailing these light troops, is going to get taken apart by the Stalkers. It's very cool to actually see this unit do well, because often they're just terrible, but they're such a cool thematic piece, right? And they get in, Screaming Skull Catapult's wavering. Nehekar Horsemen might be able to push them off. We'll have to see if the Catapult's going to be stabilized. Also some carrying being called in while the Catapult continues to shoot. On the back, we see the Skeleton Horse Archers skirmishing, trying to steal this objective, but there are some Coldland Spear Riders called in, which will make very quick work of them. 90 armor, shields, pretty much everything you need to deal with these like cavalry units. So a little bit dodgy. Skeleton Spearmen of the Tomb Kings going to be securing Objective 2, but the real epicenter of combat is here on Objective 3. Kotep being hunted. His curse does get procced. No, it doesn't. Okay, that's going to be Usirians. Meanwhile, in the backfield, the Sara Scar Veteran being an Unholy Scourge. Catapult still partially online, but it looks like the Chameleon Stalkers might be able to get it. Oh man, its leadership really needs to hold. Prepare for the Bear can't really afford to lose too much more at this point. He's taking some big beatings back here. The Lizards aren't going super hardcore into healing, though. I believe they have a Heaven's Caster somewhere around here. I could have sworn I saw a Heaven's Caster in the loading screen. So probably just been some Wind Blast and those type of spells. Yeah, here it is. So he's got the Wind Blast. Is it Wind Blast? No, it's actually the Bombardments. Combative Cassandora and your Uranus Thunderbolt. Okay. Sara Scarvet going to be duking it out with Eyes of the Desert. They should win that fight. They have 16 models. They're very healthy. They have their halberds. So at the end of the day, they should be able to finally get rid of the Scar Veteran. We do see the Heaven's Caster. Have we seen any bombardments from him yet? He does have 115 kills, so probably got like one big Combative Cassandora. Up on the objective, the cohort of Waddle is fighting tooth and nail on the point, but are being poked by some spears and chaff units. Is Kotep still alive? Kotep does stabilize. Bow Shopti being dragged down. Eyes of the Desert once again need to be given an order on top of the Sara Scarvets, and there is going to be a fat bombardment right there. So that is going to be a Combative Cassandora. It has a very long wind-up time. Or your Uranus Thunderbolt, we'll see. I think that's a Comet. It will do a little bit of damage here. Yeah, let's look in there and see. Yeah, it kind of tickles their rear rank, but for the most part, those skeletons will be able to get to the fight very well. Tomb King's crumbling down on the objective very heavily. We do see not much of a presence left. Some carrion being sent in to try and hunt down the skirmishers. Not a terrible idea. Typically, Nehekar Horsemen work a little bit better, but the carrion also can't be intercepted by cavalry units, so you get the benefit of flying. And Tomb King's now moving up with Skeleton Spearmen. Kotep is also there. In the Bow Shops, you have a couple models left. Not too many, crumbling with -42. These ones do have 6 models, so maybe they'll be able to get some work in there. You definitely just want to shoot the cohort of Waddle, though. Shoot those skirmishers. Oxyotl in full assassin mode. The Master Predator is here. And he is eyeing Grand Kotep down here. He's looking for that booty, and he might get him. Kotep's sitting at 1300 HP. Oxyotl, you just kind of set him on something over the course of a long game, and he gets the job done. On this objective, we have Skeleton Warriors coming up. And Skeleton Spears trying to hold this point down. Might get taken from them, though, just because of the Skink and Cavalry combined capture weight. Although the Spears should be okay there. We do finally see the Sara Scar Veteran being taken down by the Eyes of the Desert. So finally, Prepare for the Bear was able to get that revenge there. Now, remember, Tomb Kings do heal quite a bit. whenever they're casting spells with the Lore of Nehekara passive, it is going to be healing with the Restless Dead. So, yeah, it's pretty decent. So he's ducking and dodging, trying to get away from old Oxyotl. In this matchup, I'm a big fan of Tombguard Halberds. They trade reasonably enough against Saurus Warriors, and they can also defeat Kroxigors, and they give you much needed capture weight. So for Prepare for the Bear, I would recommend some, maybe like 1 Bow Shopti in the beginning. Just bring like 1. It's much easier to protect. 3 is very greedy. And then maybe get some Tombguard Halberds to try and play the objective game a little bit stronger. Lizards do seem to be taking control of the game. Oxyotl here is sitting at a fair amount of kills. That's a skink cohort. Oxyotl, let's see what he's got in terms of value. Such a cool character. And yeah, he's got 1,200, just kind of sitting on concept. Not bad. Tomb Kings might be able to get a counter push here. We do see them lose a little bit of ground. Eyes of the Desert do come over from Prepare for the Bear and do defeat the Golden Riders. And now there's a massive legion of undead heading over towards Objective 1. This point is going to be staying under the control of the Tomb Kings. No problem there. And in the middle, the Tomb Kings seem a little bit resurgent. They're only down by about 1,000 value. With healing taken into account, it's probably pretty close. Carrion called out. Good usage of the Carrion. Carrion will fly in, and Colossadon Hunters will take some damage from them, actually, yeah. Because they're an anti-large unit, so the anti-infantry bonus isn't going to be there. Carrion, I believe, are infantry-sized. Yeah, they are. So 2 of them also using Cursed Blades. That's kind of a cool tech. Giving anti-large to these Carrion makes them trade actually very, very well. Tomb Kings looks like they could be kind of back on the menu. It looks like they were really hurting, but the undead are quite resilient, quite perpetual. You know, they're coming in nonstop here. We do see the Eyes of the Desert shooting laser beams into the sacred Kroxigors there. Coldland Spear Rider's going to be chasing down the Eyes of the Desert with a little bit of spear support, or skink support, not bad at all. But the undead do have their skirmish cavalry as well as some skeleton warriors here. Eyes of the Desert should endure that. And big Comet of Castlendora going down in the middle. We did partially miss that, but it's only against Chaff, although now some Tomb Guard have arrived. So it is going to be basic Tomb Guard, I believe, making it in. Skeletons. I saw a Tomb Guard unit somewhere. I could have sworn when I was like mousing over things. Is it here? Is it on the way? Nehekara Warriors have arrived to the point, and now it looks like Tomb Kings might have a chance of flipping this one. It is in the clutches of the Lizard, but Nehekara Warriors do have full capture weight, so they're going to be more than fine. Skeletons do get into the secondary, and the Carrion is a nice kind of counterattack against the Colossadon. I mean, they're not going to kill it, but they are keeping it honest and keeping it from getting onto a target that it actually wants to be fighting. Meanwhile, the Undead with 2 units of Nehekara Horsemen, one of the better light cavalry units in the game. They have really hard-hitting stats for how cheap they are. And they get in and they just swarm all over these bad boys. So we do see these skinks pretty much in full retreat. They don't have any Kroxigor buddies here. They definitely need like a big scary Kroxigor, although we do have the Eyes of the Desert mixing in as well, which is going to give some tools. So Tomb King's going to be reverse flipping the objectives here potentially. Look at that resilience. So they move in there. We see the leadership of the skink-based army starting to play into account. I think more Kroxigors being called in, again, could be helpful considering there's only 1 Bow Shopti online, so they don't really have too many natural predators. And the cohort of Waddle, it's going to be taking these skeletons to pound. So skeleton spearmen as well as skeleton warriors here are going to be crumbling. We still have a unit of Saurus warriors, Rev Crystal. Oxyotl has been an absolute menace. Kotsep, is he still alive? He might have actually died. I usually record with my sound off so it doesn't distract me, but I think Kotsep might have actually either been unsummoned or died. Let's go and check the leadership of these skeletons here. Ooh, big Comet of Castlendora. That's going to be fat. Nope, it's just Urannans. Okay, we got blue balled a little bit. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the Lord got unsummoned. So Kotsep basically fled the battlefield. He was probably back there and safely just kind of exited the field so as to not die. And looking here, Skeletons and the Nehekara Warriors doing pretty good at this point, still in the Lizardmen control. And now we do get a Kroxigor unit coming in. And Kroxigors with Skinks, if they like team up against Sepulchral Stalkers, should be pretty good. Spanking paddles out. They moved in. Oh man, look at that animation. Sepulchral Stalkers are so freaking cool. My tabletop army, I run 6 of them with my Tomb Kings army, but they're not very good, unfortunately, in tabletop. Hopefully they get some better rules at some point. But they're just so incredibly rad. Rule of cool, sometimes, like, the army's very competitive, with the exception of the Sepulchral Stalkers. So it kind of, like, helps balance it out, makes it, like, more of a mid-level list. But Eyes of the Desert with their anti-large halberds doing a number on these Kroxigors, man. They're taking a bit of work. These skinks are helping, providing 10% bonus damage to the Kroxies. But the halberds are showing no mercy, and we do see the objective flipping to the Tomb Kings, while objective 3 does belong to the Tomb Kings as well. How are the Lizards going to rally back in this game? The Tomb Kings are leaderless. They do not have any magic at this point, but a lot of units up on the point. Skeleton Warriors into the sunset by Prepare for the Bear. A little bit of crumbling going down here. Some skink skirmishers and cohorts trying to clear off these skeletons. And it looks like they're going to be starting to play this side. Can the Lizards find a way to get back in this, man? Because this is a triple cap, and it's not like it's an early game triple cap where you're like, okay, guys, I have some time. I can get back in the game. This is like a late game triple cap, which, you know, your opponent's eclipsing 1,000 points. They're going to be getting there soon. So that's going to be very, very dodgy. We do have the Heavens Caster. It should have brought Wind Blast. Wind Blast is a super good spell against Tomb Kings. I highly recommend that if you're watching via to bring Wind Blast, because you can overcast it on skeletons and on Tomb Guard, and it kills them very efficiently. If you're not going to be using like Lore of Lifestyle here with the old Lizards. Also, I mean, against Tomb Kings, you can do a lot of stuff. Like Saurus spam with like a life slant isn't bad if there's places for you to hide your life slant. Saurus warriors are just so cost effective. They crush the Tomb Kings infantry corps. And that's typically been what I've seen at most like high stakes competitive situations. With Lizards, it's just Saurus spam. And though they did get changed a little bit, I think you could mix in Croxagores and Skinks as well. Not bad at all. A couple Nahakar horsemen plowing into the backfield, probably eventually going to be dragged down. Lizards do manage to get this point back, and it's anyone's game at this point, really, guys. The Tomb Kings have a little bit on this point. Yeah, they got a Tomb Guard unit and also are calling in another Skeleton Spear. Their Skirmish Cavalry have been kind of like highway robbers here, just bouncing between the 2 points, poking wherever they can. I don't think Lizards are going to have any hope of getting that point back, so their only hope is maybe a Bull Rush on Objective 2 here, which it looks like that's going to be the case. So we got the Cohort of Fodl moving up. We do see the Skeleton Warriors crumbling pretty rapidly. Still, they're going to last some time. And yeah, Skink Cohort's also being called. So he's going for a triple cap, actually. He's going to be moving in with all of them. Clostodon Hunters don't really have too many good targets. Their value so far has been, wow, 2,000. So even though they were fighting things, I think they managed to get in contact against the Nahakar Horsemen and some of the cavalry units, which I suspect got the job done for them in terms of their value. But yeah, they're going to be bull rushing this Tomb King's objective. Tomb Kings do call out the Screaming Skull Catapult in the fourth quarter. Not a bad tech to try and break the leadership of the attackers. And they're just going to have to hold, man. They're going to have to hold for as long as possible. A couple cohorts throwing javelins here. I do think pulling all your infantry and just swarming Objective 2 might be a little bit safer. This one is like turbo entrenched with Nahakar Warriors, so it could be a downfall for Vienema here, although, I don't know, maybe he'll make it work. Skinks just don't kill skeletons very quickly. They don't kill much very quickly. They're more of a support piece, like a cheap chaff meat shield with good capture weight here. But Stalkers are moving up, and these Stalkers did get 600 value, I believe, in their first life. Some of the Croxagores do overextend a little bit into the backfield and are going to be moving in. I think trying to get on that catapult, or he could be running interference. Running interference isn't a bad idea. Getting in front of the skeletons, tar pitting them, and messing with their aggro AI can be very good. Clostodon Hunters are trying to hunt down the Skeleton Horseman Archers, but are being kited pretty effectively. Lizards do have a good cap weight here, though. They're trying their best, man. Tomb Kings, are they at the point where they could one-on-one? Not quite, but they're getting close to it. And when these Skeleton Warriors make it up to the front line, that is going to be a lot. They're only 2 capture weight apiece, but there's a lot of them, so that might be able to wrestle it. Although we do see the Tomb Guard crumbling. When the Tomb Guard crumble, that's going to be a lot of objective capture weight going. Skeletons arrive, so that's going to be 2. That's going to be 4. These ones are up on the point. Definitely need to get the Skeleton Horsemen here. We do see the Cohort of Fodl fighting like absolute Giga Chads over here on the side. Meanwhile, on this point, Skinks are moving up with Croxagores as well, and yeah, they're going to get this one. It's going to take a sweet amount of time, but they're committing quite a bit. I suppose they're confident in their ability to get this, but like if you barely just don't get this objective, you would really regret playing that side as well. Although, in some ways, you have to play that side to keep your opponent honest, otherwise they would bring everything here. But Tomb Kings are not maneuverable. 28 speed, they wouldn't be able to get here in time. Oh man, this is close. The Tomb Kings are getting a lot of units on this. Lizardmen still have good capture weight, but they're going to start running out of capture weight here soon. A lot of their Skinks are very low leadership, and if they get routed off by the Screaming Beam Catapult, that would be a big problem. Check this out, though. Some of the Croxagores do make it back to the Screaming Beam Catapult. I actually have one of these in Tabletop. They're really good. In Tabletop, they have an ability that lowers the enemy's leadership when they hit them, and also there's a chance to make the enemy rout when they get hit by this. It's like kind of like they have to do a mini terror check, which is very strong. Couple Carrion arrive in there, and this point is, man, this is a tight one. This is very, very close. I think Prepare for the Bear might be able to edge this one out. Lizards are swarming up on this point here. We do see the Croxagores finally arriving, and it's surprising that he did so well, considering the triple bow shopti were pretty much just useless. I think the Skink Priest, yeah, I guess he got only 1,000 value. Oxyotl did manage to pay for himself, and this objective is going to be flipping to the Lizards. Oh my god, he flips it. Wow, okay. That was a sudden change of momentum, so Lizards get that point, but are they going to get this one? 1470. A lot of Lizards are moving on to the objective. They might be able to get it, because these all have 5 capture weight. Lizards are really fast capture weight units. Skinks are not considered expendable like skeletons, so oh my god, he's going to get a triple cap on him. But the question is, if he loses an objective for even a second, the Tomb Kings are going to get back in this game. So that's going to be tough, considering the sustainability of this point's looking a little bit dodgy. So he takes that one, immediately gathers all of his units, and bull rushes the back point. Because Tomb Kings might be able to wrestle him off this. The Skinks are getting worn down. Their numbers are not super numerous. Oxyotl's providing a little bit of support. We do see Skink Skirmishers coming onto the point there. Wow, okay. I really thought Prepare for the Bear was going to get that, but it's so easy to underestimate. That's why you need Tomb Guard. If you just rely on only skeletons, they can hold positions, but yeah, I was wrong about a couple things. The split push ended up working out well. Arguably, he could have gotten this one a lot quicker if he had pushed that one. I don't really know what the right choice was, but it ended up working out for him by the hair of his chinny chin chin here. So the Chameleon Skinks and Skirmishers do arrive. Just regular Skinks, excuse me. And I think they have enough capture weight here now. We also get Skinks and Croxagores hustling across. Tomb Kings are crumbling, and that's going to be GG for the Lizardmen. So very unorthodox builds for both players. Triple Bow Shopti. Bow Shopti are good against lizards, but 3 in the opening is definitely a lot. Because if they just go wide and don't present any targets, that's what's going to happen to you, right? They still got 1,700 value. Kotzep was nice for his little Darude Sandstorming. I think if the Tomb Kings had kept Kotzep alive, they probably would have won the game if he didn't route off the battlefield or unsummon him. And yeah, we're a little bit off meta builds for both players, but those are fun to cast. So we get to learn things and, you know, give tips and all that good stuff. So GG, well played to these players, and congrats to Via for winning that tournament. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. See you next time, and adios.